Hello and welcome to the Wargaming.net League North American World of Tanks competition. I am Ben, Mr. Bitternickel, joined on set by my lovely colleague Kevin Rotterdam van der Kooi.
Hello, Ben.
Hey, Rotti. And of course, Randall Rookhill Holcomb is off there in the corner.
Howdy.
It is a lovely day in sunny Rancho Cucamonga, California. And this day in history, I got a good one for you, Kevin. The 80 Years' War ends with the Siege of Haarlem. This happened in 1574. That war was also called the Battle for Dutch Independence.
That's interesting, Ben, but I got something for you that's going to make you truly happy, because this day in history, Michael Jordan was the first player to score over 50 points in playoffs on consecutive games.
Oh, snap. Best of all time, Kev. Best there ever was.
Maybe.
Best there ever will be. It's a great day for some tanks. We got some incredible matches ahead of us, but before we get into that, or you know what, let's just get into that right now. Tonight's match is Simp versus Strike, River of Blood versus Scurry Hard.
Oh, yeah.
Mop 4 versus Wreak Havoc, Simplistic versus the Cunninghams, and we're going to top it off with Refuse to Die versus the Cazadores, a match that I'm personally looking forward to very much. I think it should be fast, furious, and fantastic.
I'm looking forward to River of Blood, Ben, because I actually had the pleasure of casting them a couple of times in the qualifier as well. I was very happy to see them winning their first game in the official season, even though it was a close one against Cazadores, as both teams are kind of YOLO swag, let's go for it. I think River of Blood is a really cool and exciting team, and I'm looking forward to see them in action.
There will be a lot of great games tonight. There were a lot of great games yesterday. Let's backtrack a little bit and check them out.
Have a couple
First up, from Simple Tankers versus Turtle Police, Z-Slayer in the T1 getting the crucial cap here as the seconds count down. Simple Tankers would take the map and would overall go on to win the series 3-1. It was a really fun night of games, Kev, and I had a lot of fun tuning into it. The last of Turtle Police's boys going down right here in the closing moments. Boom!
Yeah, that was a really fun series, and also worth mentioning is that Trouble 2 completely predicted it wrong, as he went against his buddies and thought that the Turtle Police was going to take it.
And the Simple Tankers players were not happy about that. From EC versus the Cunninghams, proc aggression starts. Commander J forcing so many shots and dodging them like a boss, man. This was a very scary push from Ermagerd Kerneverance. If they had picked off Commander J here, maybe that series goes differently than it did. Ultimately, EC would win the match.
That would have been better for them than if that would have happened.
it would have not been quite as dramatic had this game gone a little bit differently. EC ultimately winning it 3-2. And leading us into our final highlight from yesterday's play, Strike versus Wreak Havoc. Huge draw here on the west. Wait a second. This is Ermagerd versus Cunninghams on Ruinberg. Excuse me. The closing moments of the match, as we can see EC here forcing big fights while capping back at home, and watch them protect the T1 here. Urtai excellently positioned here in front of Vect.
Yeah, that was a really close one as well, Ben, because if that would have gone on for a couple of additional seconds, it could have been a lot rougher, as of course the T1s had all the points on them.
And here's that final highlight, Wreak Havoc versus Strike. Massive confrontation happening here on the west side of the map. And you know what, Kev? Strike wins this battle so decisively, seemingly guaranteeing their victory. But oh no, what's going on back home? T1 Cunningham's on the cap. And Strike was too far gone to get back in time to stop it. Wreak Havoc pulls it out barely in the fifth map to take that series down 3-2. Very excellent play coming from all those guys. And really exciting stuff all around. Now, I know our invites have been going out for our first match of tonight. It will be Simp versus Strike. Strike showing us some really fun games yesterday. Simp looks impeccable in the games we've seen them play so far. Incredibly well coordinated and incredibly, I guess, on point with their gameplay.
Seems like our first map is going to be on Live Oaks, man, unless they are just hosting a
No, they're just hosting it up.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that would be a first. I haven't seen it at all. I was like,
what is this map?
Yeah.
No, they're just getting the game lobby set up.
Oh, I know the map. I'm very good at it. Always City.
Oh, City or die trying. Before we get into our first matches, I want to encourage you all to please join us in the discussion on World of Tanks. Twitter.com/WGLNA, Facebook.com/WGLNA. You can also follow all the highlights and and see all the VODs from yesterday's play over at our webpage, www.wglna.com. WGLNA.com. We will be giving away some gold to a few lucky folks that are sending us tweets and Facebook chat. So please, like I said, get involved in the conversation. Hashtag rollout. And, of course, don't forget to mention our good buddy Randall Rookhill Holcomb over there. Rookhill,
and his hat.
How do people tweet at you?
Just at Rookhill. Ruukil. Very simple.
And what would you like them to be talking to you about here as we get ready for this third night of WGL broadcasting?
If you have any questions about scouting, I am an expert, maybe a little bit. So I could answer a few of those questions if you feel like asking.
If you feel like asking, I might have an answer.
Maybe.
So think about sending me that kind of message if you would like to do that.
Yeah.
You know, if Rookill's off camera, he doesn't sound like this at all. He's like best scout NA, right here. This is not the same Rookill right now.
Yeah.
All right, so our first match is being hosted up right now. We're going to kick it into a very short commercial break. When we return, our first match of the evening is going to be SIMP versus Strike, some Group B action. I can't wait. I know you can't wait.
I can't wait.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Please send us those submissions, folks, your hero-level scouting runs and your not-so-hero-level scouting fails. I can tell you now that we're going to be giving away a couple M22 locusts to the good submissions and also gold to everybody that makes it into our highlight reel. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And if you get some gold, guys, I recommend buying yourself a Panzer Tier 3, the S35. It's a good little tank. What? You
love your low-tier little tanks.
Yes, I love killing people, man.
Randall, we have a term for that, don't we?
Yes, they're called steel clubbers. Steel clubbing.
That sounds terrible because I'm an animal lover. I have a big heart.
You're destroying puppies, little baby people who don't know anything yet. They've had like 100 battles. They're just getting used to the game, and you're just coming along with their club.
No, but I think you guys are giving a negative twist to this. Why don't you look at it on the bright side that I have 14 allies who are also like little baby seals, and they see me as the big orca showing them the way through the big seas.
An orca? Don't they eat seals?
Well,
I think so.
maybe
it's a fitting analogy.
Maybe it's a setup until I play against
you're not seal clubbing, you're just seal devouring is actually what's going down.
No, I think you guys are putting a negative twist on this. There's no reason for it. There's nothing wrong with some Tier 3 action around.
There's nothing wrong with it. There's just nothing right with it.
So our first match of the day is SIMP versus Strike. Our face-off is ready. Let's talk to the two captains.
Hey,
what's up, guys? How is everybody?
Pretty good.
All right, so we're going to start off with White May from Team Strike. You guys have played some excellent games thus far, but I think SIMP represents a really big challenge for you, I guess, in today's match. Have you prepared anything special for this showdown?
Yeah, we prepared many. Yeah.
Prepared some good strategies?
Yeah, maybe. the battlefield commander didn't say anything. We just, when they pick a match, then we will discuss how to play.
Well, I have to ask you, White May, what words do you have for Mac G and for Team SIMP as you get ready for this battle?
Well, have fun. I'm not saying good luck this night. Because yesterday, so good. Good luck to the Harvard.
Fair enough. Fair enough, and good luck to you. Mac, you guys did exactly what we thought you would do in your first match of the season, winning pretty decisively. You are the second highest team seeded into the league after all. How confident are you going into this match against Strike?
We're feeling pretty good, but I mean, you know, you can never take anything for granted. We like to lay eggs, apparently. You know, we're not mistake free. We make a lot of accidents, and you know, we're not taking anything for granted.
Well, I have to ask you, Mac G, what words do you have for your challenger as we get ready to jump into this first map?
What words do I have? You know, I got my sippy cup full of water right here. So, you know, good luck. Let's go. Let's get it on. And should be fun.
All right. Well, I'm not really sure how the sippy cup ties into all of that, but it was a good touch.
Imposing. It's very imposing.
The imposing sippy cup. Mac G, you guys are the higher seed here, so you do get to call heads or tails for the coin flip. What's it going to be?
We'll go with heads.
And it is going to be Tails.
The eagle.
That
the
might be the
sippy cup
first
failed
time
me.
I've seen Tails on a flip. We've had a lot of heads so
Yes,
far.
no, I think once or twice we had tails. But yeah,
Okay.
heads has been winning so far.
Well, that does mean that Strike has the choice of either picking the map or deferring and picking the spawn position. White May, what's it going to be?
I will pick the Himmelsdorf map.
You're going to pick Himmelsdorf?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mac, you guys get to choose a spawn position. Where's it going to be?
We'll take the south.
So it's going to be Strike versus Simp, with Simp spawning in the south position. Good luck, gentlemen. Can't wait to get into the
Thank you.
game.
Thank you very much.
There goes our 3-minute countdown timer. That means the teams have 3 minutes to choose their tanks. All right, here we go. Strike versus Simp. This time the spawns are correct. Strike up on the north side, Simp spawning in the south. We see a couple of heavies immediately taking the center. And like Randall said, they're playing the hill game.
Yep, and on the other side, I think I called that too. Strike is going west. They're going to take up positions in the train yard, and they're just going to wait it out. They're going to discover Simp is on the east side eventually, and I expect to see them push.
So Simp has positioned a single light tank out there in the train yard, and once they realize what's going on, I guess they'll just come barreling down that hill and push on the Strike cap from that angle. Also noticing Simp has set up a strong position in the center of the map. 2 heavies overlooking that little courtyard area. Will probably be a little while as this map develops. Both teams trying to find one another. There's the first spots going down.
Yep, that is Nasher, spotted by Crimson Corsair.
And right away, Simp knows what's up and are still moving ahead up on that hill, wasting no time advancing that position. Strike, I guess, allowing their side of the map to develop a little bit further before making any real commitments.
We didn't actually talk too much about the tank selection when it was actually all said and done, but we have 3 T69s on the map, which is a little bit surprising, I'd say. I mean, Randall, you did mention it. It's not uncommon to see at least 1 or maybe 2, but 3 of them. It's a little more than what we expected, no?
Yeah, that's a little more than I expect. 2 maybe max for me, seeing as a city map. But if you're going for mobility, I can see using T69s. That would be viable if you're going for that kind of play.
Also very interesting, Strike, rather than bring in a second IS-3, has worked in a 110, which is in a lot of ways similar to the IS-3, but also in a lot of ways different. Why don't you tell us about that, Randall?
Yeah, so you can mount a 100mm or a 122, and both can be considered viable options for the 110. Now, if I can't go and look at those 110s myself, but if you guys go and look, you'll see a very short stubby gun, and that will be the 122. And if it's long and it has this kind of this muzzle brake that's got a bunch of little holes in it, I can never remember what those are called. That will be the 100mm, which definitely does betray a lot of the way they intend to play that 110. So if you guys go take a look at that, you could probably identify and tell me.
There's a little bit of movement on the hill as well, as Megumio, or Megumi 2, doesn't really want to commit, doesn't really want to go up the hill, but he is getting at least sort of close to, I believe, what is one of those T69s from Simp.
That's right, just sort of biding his time here, sitting. I think at this point, Strike probably has an idea that that Simp is playing that hill game, controlling that eastern side of the map, but still no real confirmation on where the heavy hitters are. And it's just a bit of a waiting game as those T1s try to work their way around, get those critical spots, and determine where they want to make that big push. I like how Strike is set up, though. They've got a little wedge on the western front of the map, so they could push forward very quick and very, I guess, commandingly.
That's a very dangerous train station if you're a blue tank, Ben.
It sure is. And Simp does not have much presence over there. Just that single T1.
I think Megumio might be able to scout on the hill. He's getting very close. He's careful. I thought he was going to get a vision real soon. Oh,
there is a T1 up there, so he could spot Mac G if he peeks out just enough.
Yep.
There he is. And Megumio is spotted. And there's trading fire.
Yep. Mac immediately lights up Megumi, says, hey, I've spotted their T1 scout, but I have no vision on the rest of their team. Heavy 20 sitting right behind Mac, trying to support his scout in whatever way that he can. But still, none of those key tanks, none of those IS-3s, none of those autoloaders having been spotted, having really pushed their position, or having fired any shots.
Yeah, it needs to also be said that Simp has taken 2 of the 3 tanks that they brought up there, those heavy tanks. Well, actually, the tier 8, sorry. They've removed 2 of those from the hill. They've gone back down and they've joined the rest of the team down below over in Hotel 8. Only Heavy 20 is left on top, and he's actually setting up to kill Megumio the next time he shows up.
Controlling that little banana section of the map. Not much movement out of Strike either, as neither team wants to commit to anything without having spotted the real brunt.
Now, Rando, I have to ask, as soon as Megumio is able to identify the fact there is a T69 on that hill as well, do you think that there's going to be some big movement from Strike from the left top side of the map?
Yeah, that would be the trigger to look for if you're Strike to push. I mean, you see Heavy 20 up there. He's like 40 seconds out from any kind of fight. So that is exactly what Strike is looking for. They want that. But, of course, they've only gotten Mac.
Randall, why do they send that T69 up onto the hill like that? I mean, that's such a big commitment. Oh, there we have...
that is Nasher
getting spotted down there, coming through the lower flag. So at this point, we might actually see these two T69s square off.
Wow, with a little bit of T1 support as well. That's like when two little brothers fight and they both bring their big brother. They battle it out on the hill.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of escalation is really common on Himmelsdorf. You see T69s, you know, someone will bring one of them, then the next time you see the two play, they'll bring two of them, then three, and then four, and then it'll just be the whole team just meeting at the top of the hill sometimes.
And all because of the T1 Cunninghams.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't play it peacefully.
Gangs of Himmelsdorf.
Both that little Cunningham and the T69 are going to start angling themselves here at the bottom of that ramp, trying to get some vision up to the top to see where, oh where, is the rest of SIMP. Absolutely no movement out of the majority of the SIMP force, by the way. There's two big heavies still sitting right over that courtyard section. Third heavy holding the banana.
They're moving a little bit.
Yeah.
Strike, that is. Strike is moving with a couple of the heavies on the left top side, going closer to their flag.
It's very little actual scouting beyond the first two spots. The T1s went out on either flank, and the second they spotted someone, they stopped advancing. So SIMP knows where their enemies are on the flanks, but they also saw those T69s moving around, and since they're not sure of where Strike is, they're not going to make the move.
More heavies closing in, though. Going to try to support this T69 a little bit, and might actually have some real action over here on this on the hill here at Himmelsdorf. Just 3 minutes to go right now. Picking off one of those big boys could be massive.
And first shots are fired. Blue Boy Captain immediately gets tagged, but he's got Heavy 20 there to support. So it's going to be a battle of T69s, but the heavies are coming up, and I don't think that SIMP is aware of this yet. Mac G not able to spot anything other than the opposing T69s.
I mean, it is something. 269s with a good position might be able to buy enough time for themselves to at least get out of there and deal a lot of damage.
Still, the rest of the SIMP squad holding their line, being very patient.
Whoa.
2 minutes, 45 seconds remaining as we do.
Thanks, spotting each other in the courtyard as well. The two heavies in the middle. I actually think that's quite good for Strike, as it gives SIMP the idea that they still have more heavies over there. Well, that's actually the only heavy remaining in the middle of the map.
But we got another spot on that second heavy. With so basically all the heavies of Strike have been revealed at this point. SIMP still sitting up on top of that hill. Neither team looks like they want to commit to a fight, though, Kev.
I think that Strike's going to go for it, man. I think they're waiting for the final reinforcement. I'm not sure what is coming. They have an AMX 5100 here, two T69s. They have more firepower over here on the south side of the hill than SIMP has on top of the hill. 2 minutes to go. I think if they're going to push the issue, I think they will succeed.
They might try to pick off one of those tier 8s and just win by tier point advantage. Morgada's going to poke out in the 110, reveals the T1. Will he fire? Looks like he's going to hold that shot.
They're going to have to go for it. And I actually think this is a pretty smart move. I do believe that one of the T1 Cunninghams got picked off. But still, SIMP is still not aware of this.
Yeah, Crimson is pushed across the top half of the map, picking off Patton. That was Patton, the light scout for Strike, getting taken out by the light scout for Team SIMP. All of Strike is going to push up this hill right now. So SIMP aware of it. They're going to immediately fall back, and at the same time pushing up to the middle of the map with their heavies, and that means somebody's been caught out.
Yep, the IS-3 from Gridvian is actually in a lot of trouble. He's going to get swarmed by tanks, and this is starting to look quite dicey right now for Strike.
Strike getting caught out of position. Great Ivan will get crushed by the focus fire of the autoload. It's going to be a ram to finish him off. Endo cleans up that one, and now it's going to be a mad dash to the flag, but all SIMP has to do is fall back. They've got the 9-point tier advantage if they can keep all their tanks alive.
One of the AMX 5100s is taking a lot of damage, though. I believe it's Poplord, but he is safe for now. But he's being chased. 55 seconds to go.
Oh, a lot of firepower on both sides here, but it looks like SIMP does have the better positioning, controlling this alley. Lust Burnt's getting lit up as well. He's overcommitted. He's come forward too far, and another one of Strike's tier 8's going to go down. The 5100 this time.
Oh, survives with 1 HP. Might be able to get an additional shots up. There are 2 very low HP tanks. If they are able to pick him off, both of them.
Oh, Strike's trying to get back in. His Pub Lord down to just 140 hit points. Needs to stay alive. It's 3 tanks down to 2 tanks. If Pub Lord falls, we've got a draw.
Pub Lord is going to fall. 20 seconds to go, but the T69 is fighting an AMX 5100 as well. Ben, it's madness.
It's White May versus Heavy 20. Such a close battle here at the end of it. T1's going to come forward and try to save the day. Heavy 20's got no... oh, wow, Pub Lord's still alive. 7 seconds left. Will he fall? Everybody's reloading. Yes, he does go down.
Will Whitmire fall? 2 seconds, 1 second.
White May! White May picks up the kill at the last second. We've got 2 tier 8s alive against 3. Is that what I read there at the end? Is that a Strike victory?
Okay.
That is Strike victory.
Wow.
8 points.
With
seconds.
With a 4 HP AMX 5100. Are you for real?
Last second heroic. Strike looks to be so out of position, and somehow, some way, they turn it around. So they will take Himmelsdorf going up 1-0 over SIMP. It's got to be a huge boost to their confidence.
That's a surprising first game as well, but what an awesome game, what an awesome ending. It took a little while to get things going, but when it actually started rolling, it never stopped.
It was phenomenal. Guys, we're going to head into our first commercial break of the evening. Please do not go anywhere. When we get back, it's going to be Strike versus SIMP, battle number 2. All right, guys, welcome back. We are in game and live with SIMP versus Strike. Strike leading 1-0. As we can see, the early moments of angst. We're about 3 minutes into it, and nothing terribly noteworthy having happened just yet. Right now we're looking at Strike's side of the map, and we can see that, well, they don't see much of anything. Over here on the blue side, more the same. Both teams setting up to control the blocks, but neither team pushing forward or revealing the other just yet. Now, Randall, Angst is a map that can be very fast, but most of the time is a little slower. What are the key points that these teams need to be controlling? Yeah, so as we can see, both teams have decided to take the west sides of the map. And because they've taken the west, we can't they're not going to be able to aggress very much. It's going to have to be a slow play. They're going to have to try and get first each other's T1s down, and then they use that T1 control. If they get, 1 or 2 T1s over their enemy, then they begin cap pressure, or they begin out scouting and outmaneuvering their enemy. Because once you lose your T1s, you lose so much vision. I mean, how huge is it, when you lose both T1s and your enemies still have both?
Must say, Strike has a really defensive position. What you often see when teams spawn on the north side is that they kind of set up around D3, correct? On Ensk, if you're the north spawning team. They are sitting all the way back to their flag pretty much. Yeah, I wouldn't consider that the strongest of positions. It's all right, but as we can see, the T110 here is sitting behind a destructible building. It would absorb shots, and SIMP would have to waste shots, but at the same time, it's not as reliable cover as, the harder cover. The pink building right over here in the middle of the screen is great hard cover, and there's actually some keyholes that you see the 5100 from Strike. I can't read who that is, but it's Lust Burnt. Ah, thank you. And yeah, Lust Burnt is in a really cool spot for the keyhole. And hull down, his turret isn't well armored, but at the same time, a hull down is a hull down. Yes, that's exactly right. I'll also go ahead and remind everybody, please, to place your bets in chat, and invite everybody to take part in the betting. Everyone starts with at least 10 points, and bet on the teams that you think are going to win. Accrue your points, put them all on the line, and at the end of each week, we will be rewarding the best bettors with premium rewards like tanks and gold. So, guys, don't be afraid to get involved. Subscribe to the Twitch channel and get involved in the conversation. Still not a whole lot of movement here, as we can just see the Strike team continuing to be incredibly defensive. T1s sitting back, not pushing forward. I mean, they of course do have that advantage that they won the first map. So eventually, if you would say if they would have 4 draws on a row, then Strike would win this best of 5. Now, that is of course very unlikely, as we haven't seen too many draws at all this season so far. But still, it's kind of up to SIMP to at least make something happen, because hey, if we draw this map and suddenly you draw the next map, then if Strike has a match point, then if Strike wins, it's all over. So, I'm not surprised that Strike is going to be like, all right, we're going to put ourselves in the best defensive position possible. And hey, SIMP, if you want to make something out of this best of 5, it's up to you guys.
That's right. Simp has to be the attackers. It's just like in like in soccer, we see this very often.
Yeah.
Team gets ahead, sits back a little bit. Nothing wrong with that kind of play at all.
3 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Of course, we do see Simp slowly but steady heading north right now.
Mac G poking out and getting clipped there, taking 70. I don't know how he took 70 damage. It must have been from the other T1.
Yep, that other T1 is probably sitting in B1. There's a really cool window over there, and actually, I've got a second, so...
There he is.
Yeah, Mac is driving on over there. He's probably going to spot him. Just a second.
That looks more romantic than the Titanic.
There we go.
It's T1 coming as the top of the world.
Mac is still spotted, but I don't know that he's seen...
He has.
Megumino?
Yep. They have spotted each other, and Mac is spamming as many shells as he can.
Yes, he is. Get out of that window. Still, though, Strike sitting back, being nice and passive. Great Ivan with an exceptional hold-down position. We were checking him out a little while. There's Mac G rocking that Mexican flag.
Mexico.
And where's Great Ivan hanging out? He's sitting on that corner. There we can see him right there, up there at the top of the screen. And that's, big spots here as Simp pushing forward. 2 of their IS-3s getting lit. Who has eyes on that, I wonder? It has to be Lust Burnt here through the keyhole that you were talking about. He does not want to sit there and absorb shots. But Strike now knows exactly what's up. We still see minimal movement out of the team. Megamino did get picked off there.
Publord making a really cool shot, using Mac, I assume, to spot the T1, and then Publord being camoed up. You know, you don't want to spook the T1, so you just kill him right there. Publord is down a shell, though, and so he should be reloading right now if he knows what's up and knows he needs to get, his 6 shots up, doesn't want to go into the fight with 5.
Simp is being very methodical about this push. They are being the aggressive team, but they are not being overly aggressive, taking their time, getting position, and I'm sure we will see a frantic finish as we did see on Himmelsdorf.
Pretty much the entire team is up across at least half side of the map right now, so they are on the side of Strike. It's getting closer and closer. And they have 1 minute and 50 seconds to at least pick off 1 tier 8 tanks to secure victory. And I definitely think we're going to see some fireworks within 45 seconds.
Great Ivan still controlling that corner, has it on lockdown. And, Strike, I'm sure, suspects that Simp is in that EF kind of 2-3 area.
Yep.
But currently having no vision on them.
Getting closer and closer to the D3 corner as well, where you can really peek around and get pretty much a shot on anyone.
There's some more spots. It was Indo this time who's going to get lit up. He's going to get a shot off on Nasher, doing some nice little damage, but still no big fight just yet. Indo backs right up to Publord. That is a lot of firepower represented in Publord, Indo, and even Androxus coming over with the IS-3.
There's a big HP advantage for Simp right now. I really feel they're just going to start pushing the issue for sure.
This is where it's going to happen. Androxus is going to leave the charge. He's got the bounce potential. He's got the hit points. At the same time, Simp is going to go ahead and start the cap. So here we go. The final minute. All going to come down to this. Androxus will come around that corner. He's going to be facing a 110 and a T69, but that is still a hit point and firepower advantage to Simp. Big shots on Nasher. He's down to just 400 hit points at 110, doing a good job absorbing a couple shots. AMX 5100. Lust Burnt going to try to come forward and assist, but Simp in the lead right now. There's a kill on Nasher. And right behind him goes Borgato, and wow, Lust Burnt is also just going to get dismantled. What a perfectly executed push there from Team Simp. They do lose the capturing T1, but who the heck cares, as they're going to clean up every other part of Strike here.
That was very, very well done by Simp from start to finish. But they got a couple of key shots off way before this final engagement ever happened. Those 2 heavy/medium tanks from Strike were sitting there with only 50% HP, and they were outnumbered. So it's 2 against 3, and they have half HP. Well, then it doesn't really matter how you execute your push. That was just well done by Simp, and getting those key shots off early on with excellent scouting as well. That is pretty much what secured victory for them.
Welcome back to the WGL and to our first match of the evening, Strike versus Simp. We're moving on to battle number 4, and it's going to be on Airfield. This makes me excited because Airfield's not a map we see a whole lot.
Can someone pick up the phone because I called it?
We're not going to waste any time. The map is up. Let's jump right in. And here we go. Battle number 4. Strike versus Simp. It's all tied up. And Airfield is where it's going to go down. Randall, Airfield probably not the most common map in competitive play, but it's one that pops up from time to time. Why do you think these teams don't always fall back on it?
Well, in the past, teams haven't been doing this, but surprisingly, a few teams have actually done that. We saw Fulcrum play Airfield a few times, and we've seen Ermagerd Carnivern choose Airfield, I believe.
Correct.
And yeah, so because it's showing up more and more, I'm thinking that teams are starting to actually figure out what they like on the map. It was one of the newer maps in League play, so as a newer map, most teams weren't as experienced, especially just, you know, hundreds of battles in pubs, but they also didn't have many battles in any tournaments.
We
So
got mobile setups on both sides, even though there's a little more firepower in Strike, as they did bring out 2 5100s, while Sim went for the 1390s once more. Well, this is much more of an open map, Randall. Do you think we're going to see much more mobility out of Sim? Are we going to see some early action?
yeah, it looks like we might see an engagement as the T69s, Adroxus, Endo, and Publord have moved up to the 5-6 line and are beginning, and it looks like they're planning on moving up. Endo is peeking the corner a little bit.
Oh, he's been spotted.
Like he does spot Lustburn here, and Lustburn's going to back off, but I don't think Publord or Adroxus have been spotted, so there's still a chance, a little bit of an element of surprise here.
We call this section of the map the Grinder, and for good reason. We've got every single tank of substance represented right here in the middle, all the autoloaders, all those damage absorbers, and it's just a matter of time before all hell breaks loose and somebody's going to come out on top.
What I really like what Fulcrum did on this map 2 days ago is when Negatron was like kind of exposed on the high ground, and it looked like he was a little bit alone, then he just pulled back right in time when he had so much support from the low ground, and Fulcrum just completely flanked the tanks that were engaging on the Negatron. That was one of the coolest moves of day one. This time, however, we're not going to see something like that just yet.
Yeah, well, actually, the same position Heavy 20 takes now is the same one that Nagatron was in. It's a nice little raised position. You have some bush cover. However, it is exposed to one side of the map. So if you're, you know, attacking from the east and you go on to the west side of the Grinder on the little raised position like Heavy is on, you are exposing yourself if an enemy is to your southwest inside of their own base. But if you're covering that location, you're not with the rest of your team. And that's when you attack, and that's when you send everyone in, because if you're at your own base, you're not with everyone else in the Grinder. You're cut off, and you can't support them. Absolutely, you're going to have huge positions where you can't support, and that's what you look for when you attack through the Grinder.
Pretty cool positioning there from Team Strike. The two 5100s taking the forward position and covering either side of this big rock, I guess you want to call it. Simp, on the other hand.
Rock?
Yeah, it's a big rock.
Yeah.
What?
In that regard, Earth is a big rock.
They're hiding behind a big rock. What would you call it?
It's a mountain.
That's not a mountain.
How is it not a mountain?
A mountain is much larger than this big rock.
That would be the tallest mountain
That's
in the Netherlands.
That's a mountain over there. Either way, Strike controlling the mountain rock, and Team Simp just across the way, hiding behind some cover of their own. A couple of shots are being fired, but no damage being taken just yet. It's really important, Randall, that when these guys take these shots that they hit, because every tank on the map right now is an autoloader.
Yeah, exactly. With all these autoloaders, if you waste shells, you've got, you know, that's 200 to 300 damage right there that you're not going to be able to put out in whenever you engage, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. But if you take the time to reload, you are, of course, not going to be able to shoot. That's a matter of Endo probably taking the time right now, reloading or holding his shells. He has 3, or he's got none right at this moment. But I'd say, yeah, he's reloading. There's no way.
So if you're calling the shots for Strike and you see an autoloader shoot and miss, at what point do you say, all right, let's attack? Like at what point does that instantly cue an attack?
If they're paying attention right now, they will see the impacts of these shells over in B9. But of course, these shells are impacting in a place that I don't think any of... Oh, wait, there is a 5100 out there. So they might be noticing these impacts. However, with the 5100 that we see right now on screen, he's way out of position. So if Strike decided to push right now, they'd actually be pushing in down a 5100. So Strike should be calling this 5100 back if they see this kind of thing keep happening, and if they can keep baiting out these shots from Endo.
That's Team Captain White May way out on the perimeter there, trying to set up a little bit of almost like a sniper position. He's got a great vantage point of the battlefield, but man, those shots are going to have to travel so far.
Yeah, he is, I guess, Yeah, he is greater than, he's about 500 meters out, I'd say, from here. So he is outside of spotting distance. You cannot spot him, so he is safe to fire from out there. And that's what he's actually going for right now. He's trying to use, he wants his allies to spot, and these 5100s and T69s here aren't actually spotting. So, you know, maybe he should be telling his allies right now, hey, T69s, could you spot the other T69 real quick for me? I'd appreciate that, so that I could snipe him, get a little early damage, because I'm pretty sure White May could get maybe one good shot on Pub Lord right now.
A little bit of simp movement in the middle of the map has been spotted. I think that's one of the small T1s booking it around. Mac G trying to get in position and just determine exactly where Strike's hanging out. He was spotted, but I don't think he managed to do any spotting of his own. So in spite of the aggressive taking of position from both these teams here in the early moments, neither side pushing actually into the grinder.
It makes it much more exciting though when they're actually very, very close to each other. Like if they're both in a defensive position on the other side of the map, you're like, nothing's gonna happen. Here it still feels like any second all hell can break loose. I must say, big shout out to all the battle bodies worldwide, as this game has been one of the battle bodies. First the 5100 sticking together, and now I have a beautiful shot on two T69s just being best friends for life, and they got each other's back, man. That's what it's all about.
Here they are, Nasher and Great Ivan. Great Ivan this time bringing the T69. He's been rolling that IS-3 for most of the other matches. Makes sense. Ivan, a very Russian name.
No.
Usually rolls in a Russian tank. Kind of like Boris.
Boris. I actually think that some Russians would really just like not play any American tanks, no matter how good they are, just out of a principle. My name is Boris. You think I can drive T-32? Of course not.
Of course I can, but I do not do out of... Because why?
I feel like I could contradict you right here, because the T-32 used to be so popular in the tournaments in Russia.
Yeah, but they stopped using it because they would rather win in the Russian tanks.
Well,
that's the only logic that makes any sense. Mac G getting a couple shots off, and I don't know what he's shooting at. Just shooting at. Why would he do that, Randall?
I think he may have been spotted, so he just spammed shells at the most likely bush. That would be what I'm thinking, unless Mac just got bored. I mean, you know, maybe he's just bored.
2.5
minutes left. He just wants
left.
to draw some tanks out of position so that one of his teammates can spot it. What do you think about that?
That's an idea, baiting shots out. You know, an autoloader fires a few shots. You're like, hey, the autoloader missed 2 shots at me. Go, 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 go.
Yeah. Borgata responding a little bit, moving that 1390 up closer to that bush. But still not much doing. 2 minutes left. It is all tied up. This is battle number 4.
So this also means, guys, that if this map is a draw, then the team that's going to win our 5th map, if we have a winner on the 5th map, is actually going to win the series straight away, which could be with a 2-1 score. Winning a best of 5 with 2-1, well, not bad for your average Joe.
No. That's Chuck Norris style, man. Chuck Norris is so good, he wins best of 5s 2-1.
Yeah. Because one of the games has been so intimidating. We got 1 minute and 30 seconds to go. All the tanks are still so close to each other, though, that anything could still happen. But I have to ask myself, if you've been waiting for 8 minutes and 30 seconds, why would you want to risk it all in the last 65 seconds? Oh, well, 90 seconds in this case.
It's a great point. Now, Simp has no idea that White May is way out there on that back corner. But as you pointed out previously, Randall, if they were to figure it out, they could push and they would have the more firepower.
The T1 is probably going to die real soon, though.
Maybe if he can back out here, but the
everybody's
T69 is quite exposed right now.
Everybody's looking at Mac G. If Simp were to push on Nasher and that T69, I feel like it'd be a.
Droxus is a little bit out in the open. He's not revealed anymore, but 50 seconds to go. But it's still possible that something is going to happen. All the tanks are still pretty much full on HP, other than one of the T1s, but that's not a big issue.
40 seconds left. Once again, if it does draw out, we move on to our 5th map. It will be Strike's choice, as they were the last team to lose a map after winning battle number 1.
Seems like they want to make something happen, though. Grasher is moving forward. Actually, all the tanks are moving forward right now. Randall, what are we seeing?
We're seeing the final push here. Strike White May deciding they want to aggress. They've actually got a little damage here on the Droxus, so they're starting up on health.
Yeah, Nasher. Oh, Nasher goes down, and immediately Simp's probably just going to back off. Wait, Mac G, you got to stay alive, man. If Mac goes down, that kills the 8-point rule. But Mac is backing off. And 5 seconds, 4 seconds. Mac G taking damage. Mac's got to stay alive. And it looks like he will do just that. Simp gets 1 kill and then backs away, and that's good enough to take Simp up 2-1.
That must really stink to be that one T69 that died. It's like, you know, the only reason your team lost is you.
You know, at the same time, what are you thinking? If you wait that long, why take that chance now when it's either going to cost you the game or win you the game versus taking
like
it
now
earlier?
even on the end, like they could have potentially perhaps engaged on a different tank. If they would have done this a minute earlier, they have chances at one of their 50-100s because they had more firepower once more. It's able to rack up a kill as well. And then you can always say, all right, with 20 seconds to go, we're going to sit it back unless they really want to come into us. But why wait until the last 30 seconds?
If you're going to take a risk at the time in the game when you can still recover.
Exactly.
Don't take a risk at the point that it's going to kill you. Unless you're just that big of a boss that you like rolling the dice and just going for it, all in on red. That's what Strike did. It didn't work out for him that time, so it means they go where they now fall down 1-2 to Simp as we move into battle number 5. It will be Strike's choice. We're going to take a short break. When we get back, the 5th and possibly final battle in this series.
Thanks to 13-9.
We are live with Simp versus Strike. First match of the evening, the 5th battle. Simp leads 2-1 in this showdown, and right away we see them making a move towards that ridge line that Randall was talking about. At the same time, Strike fanning out along the west. Both these teams favoring slower play styles today. We've seen a couple exciting conclusions, but we've also seen a couple rather, frankly, dull city maps. I'm excited to see how Steps plays out.
It looks like their Simp is going to use Blue Boy's captain as their scout. Blue Boy's making a nice opening scout run, very, very conservative. He's making some interesting loops going, not at the most efficient, I'd say, loops here. He is going uphill at times that I would say he should be making less steep climbs before making his scout run. He is doing a good job here of hiding his tank and revealing it only for a moment and only just a little bit of his tank as he's scouting and dropping back away. Very good job here from Blue Boys. I like this is what I like. That kind of scout run was very, very well done. I'm going to kind of nitpick him this whole time. I know Blue Boys, and I want to see how well he develops maybe as the new scout for
I feel like Randall's claws are coming out a little bit today, Kev.
Yeah, it's getting quite hot in here.
Well, if you play on a team, you know people, you play with them, you have high expectations for their performance. It's like if you don't really kick butt, you're not doing as well as you want them to, as your guys used to play, as well as they can play.
Interesting the positioning again from Strike here, who once again they take a very passive, defensive position, controlling the bottom half of the map completely, and not really asserting their position at all.
Worth mentioning as well that it's a complete mirror matchup tank-wise, with one exception that one of the 1390s on the side of Strike is actually a WZ-132, but other than that, it is a complete mirror matchup tank-wise.
How does the WZ match up against the 1390, Randall, if they were to get into a confrontation?
Well, the WZ is heavier than a 1390, so when you're in a WZ-132, it's a smart idea to ram the 1390 when you begin the engagement, and that can give you that kind of edge you need to win in the fight. And the difference between the 132 and the 1390 is, well, the 1390 is obviously an autoloader, the WZ is not. So as a WZ, you want to try and kite out a 1390 and make sure the fight happens on the move, because a 1390 is not nearly as accurate as a WZ-132 is on the move.
Both teams still posturing. Strike has moved forward ever so slightly, just controlling that H line across the bottom half of the map, giving up the entirety of steps to Simp and allowing the Simp scouts to run around and sort of spot at will.
And at the same time, it looks like Simp has decided, after scouting out the southeast half of the map, they are going to begin leaving the east side, and they're going to move west. So they verified where Strike White May is not, and now they're going to go and fight them on the west side of the map, I assume, as it looks like Endo is actually going to lead the way on the west side. So he is in a 1390, and it's going to be his job now to take up the scouting. Or he may go, it looks like he might go passive here. Yes, exactly. He's going to go passive in one of these bushes, wait for the rest of his team to catch up, and kind of, keep them safe as they move across the map.
And as Randall predicted, we can see Simp falling in right behind him. Strike still not pushing further than the H line on the bottom half of the map. There's Megamino. That is not a bush, guys. That is Megamino. T1 Cunningham.
It's a bush ban.
Oh, first spots coming up. That is Borgata is lit in his 132, peeking out. I don't believe he spotted Endo, who's sitting in a bush. Did he spot him?
I did not notice any spots going down for Borgata, but he is backing up as if maybe he had a feeling. So perhaps Sixth Sense lighten up.
Yeah, that's right. Sixth Sense has a 3-second delay, and if he's thinking, he should pretty well easily be able to figure out where Endo was. There's one good bush to spot that kind of angle. It's possible that there was a tank in another bush, but with the way that Borgata was driving, he should be able to figure out that Endo's sitting right where he is.
The entirety of Team Simp clustered up in that E2 square. Strike still a little bit more spread out, still just holding the H line. Very, very slow play out of Strike all day long. They have not shown any real commitment to action.
Yeah, I'd say that's out of really just not being comfortable with their matchup. I think they might be I don't know if they're not, I wouldn't say afraid, but just not comfortable and confident going into a fight with Simp, knowing that they could aggress.
Look at that, Patton backing off in spite of the fact that he's got a big hit points advantage on MacG. Max come forward, and he spotted both Patton and Borgata there. Borgata really exposing himself. Here comes all of Simp, and watches Strike scrambles. Where's the rest of their team? Do they know what's up? Yes, those T-69s are moving, but I feel like it's going to be a little bit too little, too late. Endo and Publord leaving the charge. Heavy 20 coming up as well.
They might be there in time though, Ben, but it's going to get dicey over here.
Oh, Last Burnt taking some big damage. There's a missed shot by Nasher as well. Last Burnt goes down. Borgata taking shots. Nasher taking shots. Simp is getting far and away a better exchange here.
I love how they're putting the weak tanks in the back as well. Now Publord is absorbing a couple of shots for his battle body, as Borgata once more is going to try to expose himself quite a bit. Look at that flank from Simp coming in from all directions right now.
So beautifully done. That 1390 getting shots off on every single Strike tank.
Blue boys, listen to you, Randall.
Boom, picks off Borgata there at the end. Patton was just completely ignored. That T1's like, shoot at me, and finally Simp says, okay. Taking him out as well, and that is utterly dismantling Team Strike there. Simp doing an excellent job picking apart their opponents and shoring up, guaranteeing victory.
Not losing a single T-rate during that entire engagement. That was really well done.
All set up by Max Scout Run.
Yeah,
pushing forward, pulling out that WZ-132.
But why did that WZ-132 reveal himself? Because that other T1, his T1 battle body, was winning the fight.
Because, Kev, he really wanted to kill.
Yeah. I know that.
He wanted that Top Gun medal. Not going to happen today, though, as all that remains for Strike is a single T1 Cunningham. It's Megamino. It's a bush, it's a rock. No, it's Megamino, and he's still hiding. And I don't think it's going to matter. He might be able to reset a cat point or two. Look at Megamino. Guys, is there anybody out there? He's talking into dead space on the radio.
Nothing to see here, guys. Is there a T1 left with low HP? Maybe I can get at least one kill before we go to the score screen.
The outcome of this one's a foregone conclusion. We can go back and take a look at the replay, the excellent fight there by Team Simp. We'll take another look at that in just a moment here. Final seconds as Simp's just going to go sit on that flag. Or do they know where Megamino is? Have they spotted him?
They have spotted him, and here he goes.
Oh, that didn't take long. As Blue Boys,
listen to
MVP
Randall.
of the day. Very nicely played by Blue Boys there on steps. Simp finally showing us a little bit of what we expect from them.